Perfect. So, sorry, let me reduce this. I just want to be able to follow the chat. I want to be able to follow the chats on my device. Good, good. So guys, you can either drop a chat, you can either talk. Good, good. For some reason, I'm not seeing it on my own phone. Sorry, I'm just testing something. Okay, good. Good, 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 good. So it's working now. So guys, yeah, let's talk. Let's talk. Let's dive into it. Let's dive into it. Let's continue. Now, honestly, I don't even know where we stopped anymore. But we'll figure it out, yeah? We'll figure it out. We're together now. We are together. So I'm trying to share my screen. Good, good. You guys can see my screen, yeah? Please, what I just want you to do is you would see on the bottom right of my screen, you would see a way where you can maximize my screen. You would see it's like a box, like a broken box, like a broken square box, right? You'd see like a broken square box. So all I just need you to do is to just please just maximize my screen so that you can actually see every single thing I'm doing very, very well, right? So let's dive in. Let's get to work. Let's get to work. So I think we're trying to write a first line. We're trying to write a first line to Randy. Yes, we're trying to write a first line to Randy. So as I was saying, now there are different ways where you can write this first line. So for example, now, sorry, let me just make sure I'm following the chats. Good. Good. Sorry, I'm so sorry, guys. Just 1 second. So sorry. Don't worry. God no go shame us. It will all work out. So perfect. So now let me know, guys, in the comments. You can see my screen, yeah? You can see my screen. You can see my screen because Christabel is saying, okay, Lola said you can see my screen. That's perfect, Dami. So now there are different ways I can get this guy's information, right? So for example, now I know his name is Randy McHugh. He's the founder of Stimulate and he's driving growth for D2C, that's direct customers brand, through retention marketing. So it's like the perfect agency who could hire me, right? So I'm just going to scroll down and see what other information can I get about him. I'll check out his about. So his about says, if you work in e-commerce, you're likely aware that our industry is under attack. With rising advertising costs and new iOS updates, it is harder than ever to acquire new customers and continue to scale. But don't worry, I'm here to help. At Stimulate, we help D2C brand like yours scale profitably with stimulation and retention marketing. We use emails, SMS, loyalty programs, push notifications, and more to help you. To drive product demand, to build meaningful. Sorry, can you guys see my screen? I've seen 2 people saying they cannot see anything. Teofilo said he can't see. Please, if you cannot see my screen, I don't even know what to say, right? But I hope you can. Good, 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 good. So, yeah. So it says, rather than hemorrhaging cash to acquire new customers, our systems allow you to drive profitable growth by increasing your conversion rates and customer lifetime value. And best of all, blah, blah, blah. We've driven an average ROI of 11.9x over the last 9 months. Now, I could say something like, where is it? Hi, Randy. Hi, Randy. I saw you've driven, what's that thing he said? I could say something like, hi, Randy. So he said, we've driven an average ROI of 11.9x over the last 9 months. No Facebook, no TikTok, no Snapchat ad can compete with that return. So I could just come and say a first line like, hi, Randy, I saw you've driven an average ROI of 11.9x over the last 9 months. That is amazing. Who knew retention marketing was more profitable than, you saw what he said, like Facebook, Snapchat, and IG, right? You can see something like, hi, Randy. Now, you're reaching out to this guy. to sell something. Let me increase my screen so that you'll be able to see the font, so that you'll be able to see well. So let me increase my screen. Oh, my days are now, that's too much. And then I'm just going to drag this down. I'm going to drag this down. And something else I'll do is I'll make this break. Good. So now can you guys see? So I could say something like, man, there are too many complaints. Hi, you're neither visible nor audible. Some people are saying I am both visible and audible. I'm both visible and audible, yeah, guys. I'm visible. Yeah, we can see, you can hear me. Good, good, good. So please, if you cannot see me or hear me, please can somebody just drop a message in the chat saying if you cannot see or hear him, it might be your network. So please just maybe leave and join back. Stand, right? So there's something like, hi Randy, I saw you've driven an average ROI of 11.9x. 11.9 times over the last 9 months. Again, I'm just taking information that he already shared on his LinkedIn, and I'm just saying that is amazing. I could either say that is amazing, but that is impressive. But I could say very impressive. Who knew retention marketing was more profitable than Facebook, Snapchat, or IG? Now, I'm not getting this information from any. I'm just getting this information from what he said. Right? So I'm getting this information from information that he said, from information that he shared. Right now, again, I'll show you how to use ChatGPT. I'll show you how to use AI to do this for completely free. But it's also important that you understand what a first line is supposed to look like, right? So I'm just going to keep scrolling down. I'm going to. So now, something else we can also check is his LinkedIn post. So let's go through. So now he dropped a post 3 days ago, right? So he dropped a post 3 days ago. Right, so he dropped the post 3 days ago. We have a lot of clients who have been with us for 2, 3, 4 years. Sometimes they leave because they think maybe there's something even better out there, but then this happens and they come back. And the biggest thing, so he dropped a message that a client sent to him about coming back. Right, I could write a first line saying something like, "Hi Randy, I just saw your post on LinkedIn about the client that came back." And then I'll just put something like, haha. Like, put a bet they thought. So what's that other thing he said? Yeah, there was something else he said. Well, sometimes they leave because they think there's something better out there. Then I could say something like, guess the grass isn't as green on the other side. You know what I'm trying to say, right? I could say something like this. Sorry, 1 second, guys. Let me do this instead. Let me do this. Perfect. Now I could say something like this. Now I know I'm coming here to sell myself, right? I'm coming here to sell myself. But I could just come and then say something like, hi Randy, I just saw your post on LinkedIn about the clients that came back. Haha. Guess the grass isn't as green on the other side. Then I'll just go into, my name is Messiah, and I thought, you get what I'm trying to say? See, and the emails that you're creating, yeah, everything from my name is Messiah downwards can be the exact same thing for 100 clients. Everything from my name is Messiah downward. And the only thing that you need to personalize is the client's name, which is where we have the hierarchy, and then the first line. Am I making sense? Does that make sense, guys? Let me know if that makes sense. Oh, I'm not getting the energy I was getting on YouTube. Don't you guys know how to chat? Does that make sense, guys? Exactly. Good. Exactly. Right. So you could actually have a template. You could actually build a template that you would send to 100 people, to 1,000 people. Right. And I've done this. I've done this for clients. Right. I've done this for clients. I've written cold emails that have led to $30,000 projects and $30,000 gigs. Again, not for me, for a client, right? Although the clients did pay me very well and then they gave me very good bonuses. You get what I'm trying to say, right? Because I used to write cold emails for a lot of people. Right. Again, right now we're focusing on first line. Now let's keep on checking some more information about Randy, just so I can show you more ways to get first lines. So now we've gotten a first line from his LinkedIn bio. We've gotten a first line from his LinkedIn post. Right. Now let's go and get a first line from his company. Now in companies, there are different places that you can get first line. You can get first line just right here from the home page. Right, you can get first line just right here for the home page. Right, see all these things, all these numbers are things that I can help, that can get you first line. Right, You can say, "Oh, I saw you've been again." We're going to get into something. Why you running faster than your shadow, right? Why are you running faster than your shadow? Have I left anything out yet? No. This person that is talking about subject lines, we have not even gotten there yet. We are going to get there, right? Right now, we're talking on personalization, which is very, very important. So now you can get information from here, right? These are things you can get information from. There are blogs are things you can get information from. You can talk about a blogs. Case studies is one of the number one things to get information, one of the number one places to get information from. There are testimonials are places to get information from. You can say, hi, what's his name again? Hi, Randy. I just read David Brown's testimonial on your site. That is impressive. You understand? Okay, let's use it. Let me not just talk, right? Let me not just talk. Let me give you examples. So like, look at this testimonial now. Now, this is a testimonial from the CEO and co-founder of Fire Road. This testimonial says, the Stimulate team is simply fantastic. We engage Stimulate to help get our fledgling email game off the ground. The results have been and continue to be incredibly impressive. We've seen dramatic improvements across the board. During our first 6 months, subscription churn dropped by 42%. LTV rose by almost 20%, and our percentage, blah, blah, blah. I don't even get it. Although I do get it because I'm in the industry. Or some people might not even get it, and it doesn't really matter. Right? Because then all I have to do is just say something like, hi, Randy. Hi, Randy. I just read David Brown's testimonial. I just read David Brown's testimonial about how Stimulate, or about how you. I just read David Brown's testimonial about how you. Now let's go and say, what are the things that David Brown said he did, right? Subscription churn dropped by 42%, LTV rose by almost 20%, and our percent of revenue attributable to email increased by more than 200%. You don't need to mention all of them. You can just mention one of them, right? About how you percent of revenue attributed to email increase. Okay, yeah. So let's see, which of this one do we want? This LTV is actually very important, which is the lifetime value. This is good. This 200% is good, but LTV is also really good. So you just think, which of them can I talk about? You can talk about any of them, right? So about how you increase your LTV by almost 20%, right? About how you skyrocketed their LTV by almost 20%. Amazing, right? You can say amazing or impressive, or you can say very impressive, right? Very impressive. Funny enough, let me tell you guys another hack, something else I can do. You can say something like, I would love to work. I would love. Now, this is not something I typically do, right? Until I sell myself, right? But say something like, I would love to work in an agency that is so bullish about results. By the way, I'm borrowing bullish from Forex people that are so bullish about results, like Stimulate. Right? Hi, Randy. I just read David Brown's testimonial about how you skyrocketed their LTV by almost 20%. Very impressive. I would love to work in an agency that is so bullish about results, like Stimulate. I could now get into, my name is Ekaite Messiah, and I do blah, blah, blah. My name is Ekaite Messiah, and I am blah, blah, blah. You get what I'm trying to say, right? Get what I mean? So, again, we're not going to stop there. We're going to get, and this is again, I'm using the exact same person just so you can see how many information, like how many first lines you can write just from one person, just from getting all this information out there. So now we've used their this thing, yeah. So now let's check where else do we want to. Let's check out their case studies. Let's check out their case studies, right? So let's go to case studies. So we have Stimulate success stories right here. We can just use any of them. So let's view this one, Zivo Life. And I can say something like, I can say, hi, Randy. I just read Zivo Life's case study. Hi, Randy. I just read Zivo Life's case study, right? So now let's see the results. 65% email and SMS revenue growth in 2 months, 213% list growth increase in 2 months, 134% YOY, that's year-on-year email and SMS revenue in 6 months, right? I say, I just read Zivo Life's case study on how Stimulate right? Stimulate. So let me see. So this is what we want to use. Now stimulate contributed to 134%. I think I'm just going to copy what they said, right? Year on year. I'm just going to copy all that. I just read Civil Life's case study on how stimulus contributed to 134% year on year email and revenue growth. And then I'm just going to say in just 6 months. You understand what I'm trying to say? And I could just end it with something like very impressive work. I use impressive a lot. Very impressive work, right? You don't have to start, it doesn't have to be super long, right? I could say very impressive work, right? Or I could go through the case study and think, what exactly did they do? Right. So they said we created a retention strategy based on 3 focus areas: foundation first, accelerated list growth, data-driven, blah, blah, blah. Right. So let's just see. So I could just say your 3-step approach, right? I could just, in fact, let's do another one. Let's use this exact same case study and do another style, right? I truly hope you guys can see my screen. Let's use this exact same case study, right? I could say, hi, Randy, your 3-step approach to increasing Zivo lives. Okay, I can say your 3-step approach to generating a 134% increase or 134% email and SMS revenue growth for Zivo Life is was genius. Was genius. Right? Your 3-step approach to generating a 134% email and SMS revenue growth for Zivo Life was genius. Then let's see, how do we end it? So let's just see, anything else we want to end it. Foundation first, getting the setting right. We conducted this, accelerated this growth. We launched high converting pop-ups. Let me see how many people are on this call right now. 463 people. Okay, that's good. I truly hope you guys are following. So let's get back to themes. Hi, Randy. Your 3-step approach to generating 134% email and SMS revenue growth for Zivo Life was pure genius, right? Honestly, we could actually end it here and say, my name is Messiah Kaite and I do blah, blah, blah. Again, every single thing from my name is Messiah Kaite, you can just have the exact same template for 1,000 people. But just because they come here and then they read, hi, Randy, your 3-step approach to generating blah, blah, blah for Zivo Life was pure genius. In their head, they'll be like, wait, this guy knows me from somewhere. Who is this person? You guys understand me? Do you get me? Right? They'll be like, this person knows me from somewhere. Who is this person? How does this person know this stuff? Obviously, because I've gone to do my research. You understand? But then it breaks the ice because they're like, okay, this person has actually done his work. So anything this person says, just the fact that they've done their research in my company, then what they are saying must probably be right. You understand? Or then I can just actually read the rest of the email. And then if it's right, I'll be like, okay, yeah, they've done their work. Sometimes your first line alone, I have screenshot from clients, right? And this is a client, Max. I'm not supposed to say his name, right? Where I sent out a cold email from so he was running a cold email campaign, and then I sent out a cold email, and a customer or a lead that they reached out to who actually bought into a $30,000 service responded that I bought into this because of your line or because of your email, something like that, right? Because of the first line. Like that is the reason, that is the main reason why they actually bought into that service. Because obviously, again, we went from there to going on calls and blah, blah, blah. You get what I'm trying to say? Icebreakers. Break the ice. Right, first lines. And don't worry, I give you guys so many examples, right? Let's get back to this. Let's get back to our slides. Damn. Oh, this is crazy. Sorry. How do I unzoom this thing back? Let me refresh the page first. Okay, let me go and unzoom from somewhere else. Let me unzoom from here. Then I'll just come back here. Sharp. Let's get back to our slideshow, yeah? So now, Again, we're still getting into subject lines, right? We're getting into subject line next. But then you see how first lines work. You see how first lines break the ice. You understand what I'm trying to say? You see how first line break the ice. But anyways, I think I even dropped. So now, let's move on to subject lines, right? Let's move on to subject lines. How do you write subject lines? How do I write subject lines? Now, this wasn't always how I used to write subject lines, right? These examples that you're seeing right here, they're not always how I used to write subject lines. But I started writing subject lines like this so I was a chief marketing officer for Ecoternatives. Now, Ecoternatives was a company in the US, right, in Hawaii. We sold off the CEO sold the company later on, right? But Ecoternatives was a company. I worked with Ecoternatives for well over 1 year, I think almost 2 years, right? Now, anybody back then, when other brands wanted to collaborate with Ecoternatives, which is our brand, right, which is our company back then, what they used to do, the type of emails that they used to send, they would send. I don't know if I can type it down for you. Okay, oh my days. Sorry, 1 second, guys. Let me do this. Let me see if I can go to a document. Oh, you know what? Let me just write it. Let me write it here. So they will send something like, they'll put their own company name, X Ecoternatives. They'll put their company name, X Ecoternatives, right? So let's say the company's name is GoFlex now. Let's use GoFlex as an example. Oh, let me just finish it. X Ecoternatives. They can now put comma, blah, 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 right? So now let's say the company's name is GoFlex. They will say GoFlex X Ecoternatives. And then they can now put whatever else it is. Maybe so scale up. Or you understand? Or they can now put a problem, whatever, you understand? They can now end it with this. So that is when I actually started using emails like this. That's when I started using my subject lines like this, because I realized that is how a lot of these companies actually send out partnership emails, right? Or they send out, maybe they want to make a request, maybe you would share a product, we share a product, whatever, you understand? They just want, that's how they did it. So I was like, why don't I do things like that, right? Because now if I'm doing stuff like that, right? Or if I'm sending out my code emails with that subject line, this person who is receiving my email will think that, okay, maybe this is a partnership. And then when you open it, which is, it actually is, you're actually reaching out to them as a contractor who wants to partner with them or to get hired. You get what I'm trying to say? So that is actually when I started. So most of my code emails right now follow this, my name. So it's going to be, now Randy, let's use Randy for example. So now Randy, who is the CEO of Stimulate, and I'm just going to put Randy Stimulate X. Sometimes I don't even need to put Randy. I can just put Stimulate X. But now because of spam, right? I always like to put their first name on the image just because of spam. So I can say Randy Stimulate X Messiah, DTC email copywriter. That's direct email copywriter. Or sometimes I might not even put this DTC email copywriter. I'm just going to say Randy Stimulate X Messiah. That stimulates and Messiah. You understand? And then that's just going to bring curiosity. My God, somebody said we cannot see your screen. Can you guys see my screen, please? Okay, perfect. Right? So sometimes you can just put something like client's name, comma, company name, X, your name. It's a very good formula, right? That is a very good formula. Using client's name, comma, company name, X, your name, which has worked for me a lot. Honestly, I'm not even going to use, so I use this one, but the reason why I use this one is because now I got this from, now remember I told you guys that you could actually go to job boards. You could go to job boards, find clients that actually have this problem, and then reach out to them. So for all these ones that are like this, right? These ones I got from job boards. These ones, I already found out, okay, yes, they actually needed my help. So I got this one from job boards outside, and then I was not able to use it. So I already knew that they needed it. But for this one, I think this is a formula. This is like a no-brainer formula that you can use. Now you can now either choose your first name. Let me put your first name. Now you can now either choose to now put maybe something like this, and then I'll put any more other information. You get what I'm trying to say, right? I can say solving your retention problem, right? Or solving your copy problem. You understand? So they will not get something like, again, this again. So I'm just going to put this. Let's make this problem gap. I think that's even going to be, that's even perfect. Problem gap, right? So this is the formula that we are using. Client name, company name, X, your first name, problem gap, right? So it can be Randy, comma, stimulate, X, Messiah. Then let's solve. Again, it is sometimes it's not going to be this long, right? So if I say that maybe it's getting very, very long, I could just be Randy X Messiah, right? That's client's name X Messiah. You get what I'm trying to say? And I'll say, let's solve your copy problem. Or I could say solving your copy problem. Or I could just say your copy problem. You get what I'm trying to say? So that's just it, right? That is actually a formula that you could use. I just actually just came up with a formula live with you guys. You guys are supposed to be clapping for me, right? But that is a formula. That is a formula that you could actually use, and it's going to get them curious, right? It's going to get them curious. It's going to spark their interest. They'll be like, oh, what exactly? What is this about? You get what I'm trying to say? They'll be like, what exactly is this thing about? So again, that is how we do subject lines. So now I've talked about subject lines. I've talked about first lines. Again, this is our first line formula. I've talked about first lines already. Now I remember I also talked about how to use ChatGPT to come up with first lines. So let me go to my ChatGPT, right? Let me keep this. Right. So now my ChatGPT is paid ChatGPT, but I promise you, you could actually use free ChatGPT for this. So now I'm going to come to Randy's page. I'm going to come to Randy's page. And I'll just copy every single thing I have here. I'm just going to copy all this. I'm just going to copy this, post on ChatGPT. Right. We're not done actually. We're just copying all the information. I'm just going to copy all this, post on ChatGPT. Right now, guys, even if it bad as it bad, you cannot find any information about the client outside. But you just know that, okay, now see, guys, we are in September, right? We are entering September, right? And this client started September 2020. I can just say something like, hi, Randy, I saw Stimulate is going to be 6 years old this coming September. Happy, and I've used this a lot of times. And it works, right? Let me just drop it here. Let me just drop one other first line. Let's say life hard. You've tried. You cannot find any other information about these guys. I could come here and say something like, hi, Randy. I saw Stimulate is clocking 6 this coming September. Right? And I can just say something like, I could say something like happy anniversary or happy birthday, or I would say something like happy workiversary. You get what I'm trying to say? It's a word I actually came up with myself, right? I should happy workiversary. So this is something that it's a word I came up with when I used to write first lines back then heavily, right? So I can say something like, hi Randy, I saw Stimulate is clocking 6. It's clocking 6 years. Right? Or I saw Stimulate is going to be 6 years. It's going to be, who's this person that's calling me, please? I saw Stimulate is going to be 6 years this coming September. And I could say happy workiversary, or happy anniversary, or happy birthday if you're reaching out to the CEO. You get what I'm trying to say, right? If you're reaching out to somebody that maybe has been in the company for 4 years, that's something you can say. Even if it is 1 year, that's something you can say. You can say, oh, I saw you've been working with, or I saw you've been with so for 1 year. How has it been? Right? How has it been growing the number one blah 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 company in America? You get what I'm trying to say? There are like so many things, so many things. It's crazy the amount of things that you could actually do, right? But anyways, I could copy all this information. There's something else I could also do. So there's this extension, but then not all of you are using are using laptops. Some of you are using phones. So as I'm copying it, well, I could just use, there's this extension called Go Full Page. I could just click on Go Full Page. Go Full Page is going to take a screenshot of this guy's entire page, which is currently doing. By the way, this is the extension here. It's called Go Full Page. Go Full Page is going to take a screenshot of this guy's entire page, right? I could literally just download it as PNG, or I could download it as PDF. Give that PDF to ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT, write a personalized first line to Randy. Right? So you could use Go Full Page, which is actually what I use, because that is a tool that we also implemented in our stuff. So I could actually just copy this, give it to ChatGPT, and say, give me a first line for Randy, give me a personalized first line for Randy. We could use Go Full Page extension. Or again, if you don't have a laptop, you could just actually copy it. Somebody said my screen is not presenting. Jesus Christ. Please, guys, let me know. Is my screen presenting? So many people are complaining for me not to take it serious enough. So please just let me know. So you say my screen is presenting. Okay, that's good. So let's just continue. So please, if my screen is not presenting to you, it might be an issue with your internet or something. So I could copy all this information. I could copy all this information right here. Maybe just copy it down. Right? I could copy it down to anywhere here. Right? I could just copy all this information. It's canceled this thing. It cancels a lot of things for me. And then just pack it. Even though it's rough, it doesn't matter. Just pack all this information and give to ChatGPT. And then you could even give the company's website, stimulate.agency. Luckily, ChatGPT can read websites. And then I could say, and then just give ChatGPT, just say prompt, right? Prompt. Give me or let me just say, give me 5 personalized first lines or icebreakers. Give me 5 personalized first lines or icebreakers for Randy, or that I can use, or that I can attach to a templated email to Randy. I've scraped what I can of his LinkedIn bio. But here is a link to his company, which I want to work with. And then I've just brought stimulate.agency. And then I'll send this to ChatGPT. Now I know I'm not saying, oh, it must look like this, it must look like that, it must be human, it must be. See, that's because anything ChatGPT gives to me, I'm just going to tell ChatGPT, this is nonsense. I'll say it's not human enough, or it sounds like AI, or I need it to be more. You get what I'm trying to say, right? Anything at all that ChatGPT. I never ever use ChatGPT's first delivery. So he said, Randy, I noticed Stimulate's average client sticks around for 2.3 plus years. Pretty fitting for a retention agency to be that good at retaining its own clients. I'll be very honest. That is it could be edited, but that's a good line. But now it gave me all this. I could just say, these sound like AI. I need them to be authentic. I'm just going to put authentic. I need them to be authentic. Again, even if it's good, I do this for all of them. I need them to be authentic and sound very human, right? And I'm just going to send that. I'm just going to send that. Let me see how many people we have right now. 280 people. Wow, you guys are not even dropping. I thought maybe because of what people complain that there will be dropouts, but there isn't. Right, see this one. Randy, saw your post about some Stimulate clients sticking around for 2, 3, even 4 years. That is pretty rare in the agency world. Well, and then that's just it. Just like that, guys. You've gotten 5 lines, and then you can add to, which of these ones do I like the most? Okay, maybe this one I can actually just put in my own. You understand? Whatever, right? But that's just it, right? That's how you can easily and very, very easily use AI to do the exact same thing that we just did. But I'm a very big believer on principles. And what I mean by principles is, if you know how to do it without AI, then you'll be better at prompting AI to do it. Or you'll be better, or whatever AI gives you, you will not just give it. You understand? You will know when AI is giving you nonsense if you're able to do it without AI. Right? And that's why a lot of people are failing. Especially maybe people, you want to become copywriters, you want to become designers, you want to become whatever, right? So you rely so heavily on AI that you don't actually learn the principles of this thing. Like they say, if anybody wants to become a copywriter, right? You need to handwrite copy a lot. You need to go to all these, you need to get swipe files and handwrite copy a lot and do all of that. Now, too many people, what was this? Too many people don't do that anymore, right? Because maybe AI just helps you do a lot of things. So you don't handwrite copy anymore. And you find that you now start struggling. Why are you struggling? It's because you're ignoring the principles. Or if you want to design, right? Now there are steps to design. There's the entire design process, the typical design process where maybe you do your research and then you draft and then you do this and then you do that. I'm not a designer, so I don't know. But you know the typical design process where you actually sketch on paper to have an idea of what your design is supposed to look like. You get what I'm trying to say? A lot of people don't do that anymore. And that's why you struggle. You get what I'm trying to say? So learn the principles, learn the foundational principles. And I promise you, if you learn the foundational principles, then you can now use AI to make yourself better. And you'll stand out above almost every other freelancer out there. Because I'll be very honest with you. Yeah. Now, people are saying they're like freelancing is saturated, this is saturated, that is saturated. I guarantee you, if there are 1 million freelancers out there, 900,000 are shitty. So you're only competing with the 10% who are good. You get what I'm trying to say? And if you now do some of these things that I'm doing, then you're now comparing with I'll be competing with the 5% who are actually putting an effort into finding clients. You get what I'm trying to say? Nothing is saturated. There's just a lot of shitty freelancers out there. I don't know if that is a good word I'm supposed to use because again, this is sponsored by GoFlex, by the way, guys. Am I making sense, guys? Am I making sense? Right? First line. So again, these are different places where you can find your first lines. Their case studies, their portfolio results, their clients' reviews, their content. If they are on a podcast, they've been on podcasts, they've been on interviews, posts, whatever it is, you understand. Their about page. You can go to their about page and then see why this person started. This is some people who say they will start because they started this. Like there's this company I worked with. This company makes millions of dollars selling hand cream. I'm not joking. Hand cream. What the hell? Not face cream, not body cream. Hand cream that will make their hands smooth and smell good. They make millions of dollars. And she said she started this because her mom was, do you understand, blah, blah, looking at her hands and blah, blah. You get what I'm trying to say? And then they have like all these sob story that, man, I don't even know if it's true, right? And that is what they use. That's what she put as their about page, and that's what they use as like the angle of why she started and all of that. I could give you guys the name of the companies if you think I'm lying, but I'm not going to do that because again, these are clients I've worked with for a while. So again, they make millions of dollars selling hand cream. Their target audience are 50 years old and above, right? So people who have grown old and then they're getting like wrinkly and all of that. So their hands just smell good. You know, that's just what they sell in the US. Honestly, US is the land of opportunities for a reason. I'm telling you, you could literally come and sell hand cream to Nigerians. Let me see. Let me see how much you want to sell. But anyways, you get what I'm trying to say, yeah? So you can get information from their about page and from all these places, their stories and all of that. So yeah, I think that's that with first lines. So okay, here are some bad first line versus good first line, right? So now, for example, remember I told you guys that I ordered from Oraimo recently. So if I say maybe I want to write if I say I want to write an email to a first line to Oraimo, right? So if I can just say I came across your website and I love what you do, that's a bad first line, right? But if I say I ordered you understand? So for example, I can tell Oraimo I ordered your so airport 2 weeks ago, and it has been amazing, and the sound quality is blowing my mind. Well done. It's a very good first line, right? Instead of saying, oh, I see what you guys are doing, well done. Or you can, if you are reaching out to somebody who runs a podcast, if you're a video editor, and you want to reach out to somebody to clip their podcast, right? You can, if you just say, I'm a big fan of your podcast, that's a bad first line. But if you say, hi, Zerubbabel, episode 42, where your guest broke down losing his first business, deserved way more than 4,000 plays. Maybe like say you saw that add 4,000 plays, and you're like, oh, it deserves way more than 4,000 plays. They'll be like, oh yeah, it does deserve more than 4,000 plays. You get what I'm trying to say, right? Or if you look at this, your Instagram, you can tell somebody, hey, your Instagram content is really nice. That is too surface level. But if you say your product photos look premium, for your feed templates, you got different companies. No, that's a horrible first line. I don't know why this is here. That's a horrible first line, actually. This third one is a horrible first line, right? right? So with first lines, you mostly want to commend them. You never want to say the problem in the first line. It doesn't work that way. You always want to commend them, right? So, and you see the pattern of first lines, right? They know you can only write a first line to a person. You cannot take somebody's first line and then give it to somebody else and then it will work. It will not work. That is what makes first lines very, very important. So if you are generating your leads yourself, right? You know that yes, you have templates. When you're generating your leads, you get the email, get the first line immediately. Just write the first line to them immediately. Because as I said, everything else can be templated, right? And I promise you, if you write a very good first line, I promise you, they will read the rest of the email. They will read the rest of the email. And most likely, even if they are not interested, they will respond just because of that first line, right? So now, do you guys understand how to write good, very, very good first lines? You guys understand how to write very, very good first lines? Should we now go into the cold email? Let me know, guys. Let me know, guys. Let me come here. Let me come here. I want to see the reactions, right? Good. Energy. As I said, this is our last class, and this class is going to be bump. This class is going to be mind-blowing. I want to screenshot that part where somebody said, Messiah, you're the post. That actually really touched me. Thank you so much. Thank you. I've screenshotted that. I'm going to post it. Thank you so much, Victor Iberinga. Right? Thank you. So let me see your. It's like people cannot react again. Okay, people cannot react. Good. Right? So let's continue. Yakubu, why did you spoil it? Plato Baje. Why? Anyways, let's continue. Right? So now let's get into cold emails, right? How to write cold emails. So I'm going to give you a framework that you can use for your cold emails, right? So now, and again, this is something that I realized. I remember when I was telling you guys that I was going through my emails, right? Because I was looking at which ones can I give to you guys, like which of my emails can I give to you guys? And I was going through my emails. I'm talking about emails from recently to emails from 3-4 years ago, cold emails, because I was scraping them all, and I realized they all look similar, right? They all look similar. They all follow the exact same beat, because I was copying the emails that actually got responses, and they all look similar. And I was like, oh, if I actually send this guys are just thinking I'm just sending the exact same thing. But I promise you, it works, right? It works. So what I did instead is I broke it down into a framework. And that's what I call the 6-bit code email, right? 6 things that should be in your code email, 6 structures for the way you follow your code emails, right? So now I could explain all this. I could start explaining all this, but I think it would be better if I just show you instead, right? So, but I have bit 1 saying, prove that you've looked at first line, write your first line, then your name plus your plug statement, then the gap, then prove, then ask, for instance, all of that, right? So let me just show you some examples, right? Let me just show you some examples. Right, I'm just going to show you real examples instead of us just doing theory, because this class has actually gone on for a while, right? This class has gone on for a while. So let's look at this email, by the way. So first, we have our subject. We've talked about subject, but what I'm focused on right now is the email. So first, we have our first line. Hi, Amara. I ordered your vitamin C serum 3 weeks ago, and since the order confirmation, by the way, because of some of these emails are very, very similar to emails that I have written, but I had to switch some of them, the names, like the client's name and company name. I just had to switch it up so that, again, some people can be ridiculous sometimes, right? I've shared out company details outside, and then people want to start reaching out to these companies. It's crazy. So anyway, so I said, hi, Amara, I ordered your vitamin C serum 3 weeks ago, and since the order confirmation, I haven't received the blah blah. So this is a first line plus the gap immediately, right? And then I go, my name is Daniel, and I help e-commerce brand turn one-time buyers. So again, this is where your plug comes in, right? So first you have your first line, and again, if you go to this formula, right? If you go to this formula, what I just did, I just actually like took the whole thing, took all my code emails. I screenshotted like over 20 code emails, and then I just gave it to Claude to just create a formula for this, like with this my email, create a framework that is actually repeatable across all these emails. So first you have your first line, which is bit 1, and then bit 2, we have your who you are and your plug statement. Right? Then bit 3 is the gap, which is the problem that you found. That's why it's also important for you when you're creating your sheets, always have the gap, because again, all of these things could actually be automated, where you almost have, once you generate the leads, you almost have to do almost nothing else. These are things that can be automated, but again, we're not touching all of that here. Sorry. Right? And then you now go into proof. So now proof is where you could either, again, if you've already worked with some of these clients before, you could say, sorry, okay, I don't even know what's going on in the chat anymore. But if you've worked with similar clients before, or you've done some work before, you could come in here. But now remember, guys, I said, if now for me, that's what I do, but I actually have to swap that part a bit, right? So now let's say I've worked with clients before. I could say I helped so and so do so and so. Is that something you're interested in? That's usually how my emails end. Is that something you're interested in? I sign off, then I add a PS, right? But let me just show you again. I'm just talking and talking and talking. So here we have first line, right? My name is Daniel, and I help e-commerce brands turn one-time buyers. That's your plug, right? I don't actually like this part that AI gave to me. This is not how I would actually write an email. Let me go to the next one and see something. Good. This is beautiful, right? So now let's use this as an example. So, hi, Tunde. I watched your founder's table interview. The part where you said you started Strong Roots because your mom couldn't find about tea she trusted. That stayed with me. Again, this is one of the emails I sent to those people that, like, it was what AI did was it just manipulated it. Again, for the email that I said, those guys are, so it started because of our mom, blah, 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 right? But again, I just told AI to change names, change everything, and just swap it for different skills, right? Now, my name is Grace, and I help wellness brands look as premium as the products they sell through packaging and social design. Are you getting that, guys? So first, we have the first line. I watched your founder's table interview. The part where you said you started Strong Roots because your mom couldn't find about it she trusted. That stayed with me. You'll be like, you understand? This person actually watched the interview. By the way, let me just tell you the secrets that I did use for this particular client, right? The podcast was on YouTube. It was a 1 to 2 hours podcast. God is not going to let me watch a 1 to 2 hours podcast because of one short first line. I copied the transcript of that podcast and then I gave it to AI. And then I told AI to give me the most emotional parts from the transcript. That was the secret that I actually did for that particular client. Right? Right? But anyways, let me delete this person. Peace, Abraham. If you send something like this again, I cannot even delete you from here. If you send something like that again, I'll remove you from this call. But anyways, so my name is Grace, and I help wellness brands look as premium as the products they sell through packaging and social design. This is why I said your plug statement has to be very, very, like, you need to perfect your plug statement, because you're going to use this plug statement across 100 brands, right, that you're reaching out to. Plus, now I go into the gap, which is the gap that I found. Here's what I noticed. Your product photography is beautiful, but your Instagram templates don't match it. The feed looks like 2 different companies, and for a trust-first brand, that costs sales. Now, this is how I end it, or this is how I expect you to end it, right? This is how I expect you to end it. Again, if you're not very, very confident, if you're not very confident in your portfolio, or you're not very confident in the work that you've done, or you think that maybe the work that you've done might not be enough to actually get these guys to hire you, then this is what we are going to say. I already put together 2 feed templates in your brand colors. I did not attach them here so that this email wouldn't get flagged as spam. Do you mind if I send them across? We could do the exact same thing. Look at this one up here, right? I already drafted the first post-purchase email for you, the one that should have landed 3 days after my order. I didn't want to attach it here because attachments in the first email usually end up in spam. Is it cool if I send it over? Again, remember what I talked about in yesterday's class. You have to force a response. You have to force a yes or no response. Am I making sense? So this is exactly how you force a yes or no response. And you force a yes or no response in a way where they will not ask, okay, let me see the clients that you've gotten 50%, or I mean you've generated 50% revenue for, blah blah blah. Or let me see a client that you've ran Facebook ads for. Or let me see a client that you've done this for. You get what I'm trying to say? Or let me see a client that you've done virtual assistance for. Like, what if you've not done anything like that for a similar client like that? What do? You force a yes or no response. So you tell them, I have already done this for you. but I do not want to attach it here so that my email will not get flagged as spam. So he gives them a good, because if you just say, I have already done this for you, can I send it to you? They will start thinking, this guy has not done it. Why has he not done it? Because he has not put it here. You understand? He did not attach it here. If he has attached it here, he'll probably have done, this guy is playing. But if you say, I have already done this thing for you, but I do not want to attach it here so that this email will not get flagged as spam, do you mind if I send it across? They will either say yes or they say no. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, guys? So that is how you force a yes or no response. That is how you force a conversation to go how you want it, not how they want it. You are the contractor. Write this down, guys. They need your help as much as you need their money. Again, write this down. They need your help as much as you need their money. Do you understand? Now, exactly. If you can have a mindset that these guys need me, you actually move with confidence. Right? So now, this is how I end every email, every single email I send, right? Every single email. So when I add it with grace, then I now put something like PS, right? What's the meaning of PS? I think it's postscript, right? PS. While some have considered it bold, that I went the extra mile to send you this email. No, this particular one, I use it because there's actually a client of mine that I reached out to. I pitched for the job, reached out to the client on LinkedIn, sent the client an email, and I sent the client a message on Instagram. And this is what I always do. I'll tell the clients that, see, I'm not going to stop emailing you. I'm not going to stop messaging you, right? I just have to let you know so that you don't get angry. I'm not going to stop messaging you. I'm not going to stop emailing you. So please, if you're tired or something, I'll just tell them, just tell me to get out or fuck off or something like that, you guess. So I did this for this client, the Canadian client, the Mad Khalid, and he told me, you've got a lot of spunk. That was like the exact same thing. You've got a lot of spunk. And I think from there, he said, then we went on to, and then he hired me, that sort of thing, right? So, and then he hired me from there, and then we worked for a long time, actually. I worked with like most different of his companies, his Canadian companies. He was the one who paid me my first $400, actually, which is the first $400 for work that I finished like in 2 days or something like that. And I was like, yay, I can do this type of work. You get what I'm trying to say? That was like years ago, I'll be honest. That was like years ago. But anyways, while some have considered it bold that I went the extra mile to send you this email, I understand it might also be intrusive, in which case I apologize. I wouldn't go this far if I didn't know I could deliver the best job. I usually add something very, very similar. Now let's look at this one, right? Kachi, the builders, we're not looking at we're looking at this thing. So I say, hi, Kachi. Now, episode 42, where your guest broke down how we lost his first business, ask 4,000, please. That story deserved far more than audio. My name is Sam, and I help business podcasters turn every episode into a week of viral clips. I checked your TikTok and YouTube shorts. Again, when you've put your first line, after you put the name and your first line, the second thing that you put is what? Your plug statement. After you put your plug statement, the third thing that you put is what? The gap. After you put the gap, you now what? You now force the conversation into a yes or no. Do you see how short these first lines are? You'll be amazed at how good they work. I know they write blog. I'm not writing like full blog. You'll be amazed at how good they work, right? I checked your TikTok and YouTube shorts. The last clip went up 6 weeks ago. You're sitting on 41 episodes of content. Nobody is repurposing. I already cut a 40-second vertical clip from that episode. Captions on, hook up front. I didn't attach it because video attachments trigger spam filters almost every time. Cool if I send you the link. Are you getting it, guys? Screenshot this, oh. Screenshot this. Adejoke Suzanne, I'm not going to answer you for one major reason, right? You need to think. I've shown you how you could do this across different skills. I've shown you how to do this across as a designer. I've shown you how to do this as a video editor. I'm still going to show you to do this as a virtual assistant. Think, right? You need to think. You cannot win as a freelancer. You cannot make 5 million naira per month, 8 million naira per month, 10 million naira per month, $5,000 per month, $3,000 per month if you cannot think. You need to be able to think on your feet. The people who are actually making good money, do you think it's luck? It's not luck. Right? So that is like the only reason, because I see that is the only reason why I'm not going to answer you. That's the only reason why I'm not going to answer you. You cannot tell me, hey, do it for this skill, do it for this skill, do it for this skill. I'm giving you so many different examples that you can easily repurpose. But anyways, let's continue, right? I have nothing against you, by the way. So now, this is for a virtual assistant. Hi, Lisa. I saw your post last Tuesday, replying DMs at 11 p.m. again. And honestly, it had no business being that relatable. I even just laughed just reading it, right? Because it's actually relatable for me too. My name is Ada, and I help online coaches take repetitive DMs, repetitive admin off their plate so they can actually coach. From your content, the pattern is clear. Your audience is growing faster than one person can answer. That's a good problem. Until paying list start, blah, blah. So you put the problem and all of that, and just say, I already mapped out a simple system for your inbound DMs. Sorted, tagged, nothing unanswered past 4 hours. I didn't want to attach the doc and get filtered into spam. Mind if I send it your way, they will either say yes or they say no. Right? They will either say yes, they will say no. So I've shown you how to do this across different skills, across different industries. The exact same structure every single time, and it works. And it is short. So yeah, because sometimes when people open your emails and they see you write one long thing, nobody wants to read a long block of text. Nobody wants to read a long block of text. Am I making sense? Let me see how many people we have here. Good. We still have a very good number of persons. Nobody wants to read a long block of text, right? But if you just make it short, punchy, space it well, what do you know? You get what I'm trying to say? So now, there are some things that you should never put in your email. We're getting to the end, guys. We're getting to the end. This class is getting much longer than I expected, right? There are some things that you should never put in your cold email, right? Never show them weakness. Don't say, oh, I've not done this yet. I may not be, you understand? Don't show any form of weakness. Don't help the client raise objections. That is not your work. Again, and that is one reason why they have to force a response. That's why you have to force a response, right? Never show them any weakness. Don't start putting doubt in their mind, right? Unless we get to that PS line. Don't apologize for doing what you just did. Unless we get to that PS line. Your email has to be confident. Your email has to be confident. And one other thing, these clients, they don't care if you have a certificate from Bakubade High School or a virtual assistant coach that you course that you took, or a whatever. They don't care about that. They do not care about that. So don't start mentioning, oh, I have a social certificate from HubSpot. I have a social certificate from Udemy. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. You get what I'm trying to say, right? So now, after you sent an email, how do you then close that email? How do you close that lead when the client responds yes? Right? So forgive my French. So there's something I say, right? And I'm saying this based on my own experience. You never stop until a client says yes, no, or fuck off. Forgive my French, but that is just because, yes, I have actually emailed somebody and the person told me fuck off. Right? I'm just saying, will you not let that one just kill your morale? No, you keep on going. It's business. Not everybody wants to buy from you. Am I making sense? Right? So now, let me show you how you now close. So you've sent them an email. What next? Oh, so okay. So this one, I even thought, I just want to waste my time. So this one, I'm talking about the close. That's the ending, right? I already did this for you. I already did this for you. Do you want to see it? That's what this one is talking about. So I think we can skip this part, right? To the close. So this is me just giving you different examples, and there are so many, right? So this is for email copywriter. This is for graphic designer, social. I put together a few social graphics for your page. I didn't attach them here, so this email will not say as spam. Right? So if you don't want to mention spam too much, right? You can say I sketched out 2 directions. Look at this one. I sketched out 2 directions for your mark. One clean and geometric, one softer. I didn't want to attach them and risk landing in promotions. Want me to send them over? You don't always have to say spam, right? You don't always have to use the word spam. You can look at this one. I mapped out a week of content for your page, 7 posts with captions. I didn't want to attach the documents here and hurt my chances of landing in your inbox. Again, we are not saying spam. You don't always have to use the word spam. You have to be creative sometimes, right? Is it all right if I send it over? I've given you guys too many examples, right? See this one for web developer. See this one now. Look at this one. I put together a quick working booking page for you, so customers can pick a time instead of DMing you. I didn't want to drop a link in the first email because links tank deliverability. Again, you are not saying spam, right? Somebody said when the client told me that, I did not say my own back. Why would I? Man, I just understand his business, man. That's how it works, right? So is it cool if I send it over? Again, this one, I'm not saying spam, I'm saying because links tank deliverability. You can say because files tank deliverability. You get what I'm trying to say, right? Now, Godswill, please, could you kick out Peace Abraham? She's sending spammy messages on the chat. Peace Abraham.
Yeah, I'm going to look for her now and take her out.
Yes, please. She's sending spammy messages for some reason. So an SEO content writer can say, okay, this one still ends with spam, right? But I've already given like too many examples. So this is the template. This is the formula to use, right? This is the formula. Then you put what you finished for their particular business. I didn't want to attach it because attachments in the first email hurt deliverability. Is it cool if I send it over? They could always either say yes, no, or they just ignore, right? If you do it well, they probably won't. Now, I'll be very, very honest with you. One thing with cold email, sometimes, right? Sometimes your first email might not get responded to. Your first email might not get responded to. So what I do in this case, and I have like so many different examples. I wish I could. Maybe I'll stop sharing my screen open because I don't want to go to, if I go to my Gmail and then you guys see like too many personal stuff, right? Or from companies I don't want you to see yet. Well, I'll show you one. There's this company. This company ended up paying me. If I'm not wrong, almost $30,000. This company ended up paying me almost $30,000 because again, I got paid outside. I typically use Upwork back then, but I know for the last few years I've been getting paid outside Upwork and all of that, right? But this company paid me almost $30,000 and they did not respond to my first email, right? It was my second follow-up email that I now finally saw and responded to. Because again, these people you are reaching out to, they are busy. So if you send one email, you never want to stop there. You always have to follow up, right? You always have to follow up. Now, let me show you some follow-ups that you can use. So you say, so now the first follow-up should be 48 hours after. So if you send an email on Monday, then your follow-up should be on Wednesday, not even the next day, on Wednesday, 48 hours after. That's day 3. So day 1, you send the email. Day 3, you send follow-up. So can you see an example? Again, guys, all these things I have given you. There's a document here. There's a document here where I've given you, I think they are up to 30 different follow-ups different type of follow-ups that you can actually use. This is 18 pages, and all these 18 pages are just packed with follow-ups. So don't worry. All this, what I'm sharing in this slide is small. You get what I'm sharing in this slide is small. You're going to get all of this. So for example, this one, hi Amara, floating this back up. I know founder inboxes get buried fast. That post-purchase email is still sitting here whenever you want it. Again, your follow-up should be very, very short. Very, very short. Right? Hi Amara, saw the summer bundle launch. Congrats. So this one is even like another first line again. One thought, a launch like that is exactly when, so this one is you. So let's look at this one. So this one, you're just bumping it up. So on day 3, which is 48 hours after, you are bumping it up. Right? That's why I just put bumping. So I just say, oh, I know emails get buried. I'm just bumping this up. Now, day 7, right? So remember, day 1, you sent out the email. Day 3, you send bump up. Day 7, which is you now waiting was like 3 to 4 days after, right? You're not going to add even more value. Either with another first line, I saw this, it looks great. And then, you understand, just give them more value and say, okay, yes, you're still waiting for them. The offer still stands. Then 14, that's 2 weeks later. Guys, I follow up like Chris. And I follow up a lot because when it gets too much, I just tell the client, I say, I'm not going to stop until you respond. You either just tell me yes or you tell me no. I'm not going to stop until you respond. So I just keep on sending emails because sometimes they'll read it and then they will ignore. You don't ignore my email. You must tell me something. I must hear something. I must hear word from your mouth. You get what I'm trying to say? So I follow up a lot, right? So I follow up a lot. Sometimes I'll just keep sending, hey, just checking in, blah, blah, type the email. Sometimes it's just generic follow-up. You understand? They'll still read your first email. They'll see that, okay, this is actually what this person is doing. So this is one, you can just come with a new angle on day 14. Then 3 weeks later, then you just said, hey, Amara, I'll stop here. Probably the timing isn't right, and I don't want to become a noise in your inbox. Then you just tell them, if so ever happens, my door is open. I'm still rooting for you either way. Right. So again, I'm just going to send examples of this. This class has gone for far too long. So I'm just trying to see how I can round up so that GoFlex can come on. So you're sending first email, then you're sending day 3, you send the follow-up, day 7, you send the follow-up, a week after you send the follow-up, another week after you send the follow-up. Sometimes I actually send follow-ups, like much more follow-ups, I'll be honest with you, right? So now, what happens if the client says, yes, send it? So you've told them, I have written this for you. I have designed this for you. I have done this for you, but I did not send it here so that it will not land in spam. What if they now say, yes, send it? Right? By the way, I send my follow-ups not as a new email, but as a reply. So all my follow-ups, I send them as a reply. That's a very, very good question, Anthony. So I send all my follow-ups as a reply, not as a new email, as a reply to the email that I have already sent. That's a very good question, Anthony. Thank you for asking, actually. So now, if the client says, yes, send it, what do you do? Just think about that, guys. Think about that. Imagine with me that there's a client that can pay you like $3,000, $5,000, and you send them this email and say, I will send this. And then you say, yes, send it. Will your heart first do bim, 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 bim? Or will you be excited? Will you dance? Right? But anyways, let me tell you exactly what your heart is only going to do bim, bim when you're not sure of what you want to do. Right? But here, we're here to show you what to do. Right? Let me just see how many people we have on this call. Okay, still a good number. So what happens when a client says, sure, send it over? So here's exactly what you want to do. So for example, now I'm expecting that you already, hey, I want to create an email for them. So the first thing you do, don't even just quickly go and create whatever you say you want to create for them. And so this is what I usually do. And because I'm usually reaching out to a lot of clients with similar problems, I already have a rough sketch of how I would solve that problem. I already have a rough sketch, right? A generic sketch of how I would solve that problem. So it's always very, very fast. When they now tell me that, oh, yes, send it over, I will just really go to my rough sketch because I'm a writer, and these are things I could actually use AI to do, all right? Or again, if you're a designer, it depends on all your skill. But I just rush and then just go and create something like that, right? Matilda said it doesn't work for web devs. Do you know what Claude is? Don't you use Claude to design this thing? I'm not a web developer, but I design pages with Claude. Right? But anyways, you want to make sure that you don't now spend 2 days creating it, because then they will know that you're spending, that you understand that you're just creating. You want to make sure that you're sending it to them that exact same day, right? Same day delivery. Very, very important. Same day delivery. So what you just do is you then go ahead and then create the whole blah, blah, blah. Then when you send the work, you just want to make the email very, very short. So for example, now for that one, I said, can I send you a post-purchase email? I'll just say, oh, here it is. Or I'll just say, thanks for responding. And then I'll put their name. So thanks for responding, Randy. So here's the post-purchase email written in your brand's voice. And then I'll just give some information. I put blah, blah. Then you still want to make them know that this is not just it. There is much more, right? So I'll not say something like, this is one email. The full system I'll build for you. So again, you have to let them project that in their mind. This is just one. So if you design a social media creative and you send it to them, you tell them this is just one. What I'll do for you is going to work across carousel posts, blah, blah, blah posts. You get what I'm trying to say? Put it in their mind so they know what they are going to expect, right? So something like the full system I'll build for you is a 4-email sequence that runs on autopilot. Now, if this lands the way I think it will, what that means is if they actually like it, if this lands the way I think it will, want me to walk you through what the full version would look like? Again, you're still ending it with a question, right? So you're telling them, okay, see, this is what I said I have done for you, but this is the bigger picture. Am I making sense, guys? So this is what I have done for you, but this is the bigger picture. Do you want to talk about it? Now, I guarantee you, 90% of the time, if they like what you've given, they would always want to move forward. At that point in time, they always want to move forward, right? Now, again, follow up. If you send it and then they don't respond, it's very, very possible that they are busy. So just keep on following up till they respond. So now, let's say you've now done all that. They like what you've done. So now it's now time for you to close the deal, right? So now, if they respond that, oh yeah, they actually liked what you sent, then you now get into, again, you still don't want to send like an essay, because the next thing you now want to do is try to land a call, like try to land a short call. Because again, you still need to know about this client's business, you still need to know how they will onboard you into their systems, you still need to know all of these things. So most times, what I want to do is I want to then land a call, right? A 10 to 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes call. So I'll just say something like, so this is just an example. Glad it landed. So the short version, right? I'm just going to give them like I usually call it a 30,000 feet overview, right? So the word I usually use is, so 30,000 feet, a 30,000 feet overview, right? I'll build you this, which is going to fix this problem. Now, most brands your size, or most brands or typical brands, I'm not going to say I would write you emails that are going to somebody said Johnny Long, right? I'm not going to say something like, I would write you emails that is going to increase the lifetime value of your client. I have helped so and so do something like this. No, I'm going to say, I would write you emails that will increase the lifetime value of your existing customers. Most brands who do this, you understand? Or most brands who do this usually get so results. And these are things that you can get from Google or whatever. You understand? Most brands who do this, I'm not telling you that I have done this for other brands and gotten this result too. I'm just telling you that most brands who do this get so results. Can we quickly go on a 15 to 20 minutes call so I can ask you a few questions and we can talk about, because you always want to talk about, if you talk about money through chat, right? If you talk about money through chat, it's always iffy, because then if they don't respond, even though they don't respond 2 minutes later, your heart could just do big name. My price is too high. My price is too low. You get what I'm trying to say, right? So I prefer to do that on a call. And why I prefer to do that on a call is because if they tell me no on a call, and I have had clients who would say no and then actually convince them to say yes and pay, right? So now, again, as I said, if the deal is small, if you're just talking about maybe like a $100, $200, $500 contract projects, and those are something that you can actually just do over chat. You can actually just do over email, and then you send them the thing and then they pay you. Or you tell them, okay, can we go on WhatsApp? Can we go on LinkedIn? Can we chat on LinkedIn? Can we chat on Google Chat? Can we chat on anywhere else? Skype, right? Skype, I've used Skype with a client, I think. Can we chat on this thing? But now, if it is something that's okay, it will pay you every single month, which is the plan. Something that's going to pay you $1,500 every single month, right? You want to get on a call, right? Or if it is something that's it is higher ticket, like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, then you always want to get on a call, right? So the size of the scope of the conversation must match the size of the deal, right? Yes, you can use Google Meet. So the scope of the conversation will match the size of the deal. So if it is a $500 deal, then it's probably not even something that is going to worth me going on. I'll come talk with you for 1 hour because of $500 or for 20 minutes. You get what I'm trying to say, right? So again, the size of the conversation must match the size of the deal. The higher the deal, the higher the scope of the conversation, right? Again, because trust now plays a long part. But going on meetings, going on video calls, Google Meet, Zoom, whatever. Matilda said for $500 she go enter call. Everything is in stages, I guess. Everything there will be a point in time where you'll be like, man, I'm not wasting my time for $500. You get. Well, anyways, yeah, it must match the size of the call, right? So now, what do you do on a sales call, right? The first thing that you want to do is, I think the general idea with a sales call with a client is you want to control the conversation, right? You always want to control. And how do you control the conversation? Is when they are telling you things about their business, you always want to pitch in with questions. For every 2 things that they stop, it's not like you'll be the one talking. No, let them talk, right? Because you're asking simple questions. Let them talk. So for everything that they say, pitch in with a question related to something that they said. Even if you already have the 5 to 10 questions that you want to ask, right? Or if you have 5 questions that you want to ask, you still want to ask like you to probably end up like being like 10. Because for every question, for every answer that they give, you cannot pitch it. It just shows them that, oh, this person is actually listening. This person is actually understanding my business. You get what I'm trying to say, right? So again, you just greet them. Just say, so I'm going to ask you a few questions, right? And then I'll walk you through how I plan to approach this whole project. Does that sound good? They said that yes. Then you now start asking questions. So you just have some questions that you ask you. Like maybe some things about their business that you could not find online. You can ask maybe how they are currently running things. Do they have people that they've already hired for this? Have they already hired freelancers to do this before? Or have they hired the team to do this before? What was the problem? You get what I'm trying to say? Then so anything when they give you an answer, you always want to reflect their words back to them. Oh yeah, if they say, oh yeah, they've hired a freelancers, they've hired a freelancer to do this before, but the guy disappointed. I'm like, oh yeah, some freelancers do act that way. And like, you get what I'm trying to say? How exactly did they disappoint? Am I making sense? I'm not talking about phone call. I'm talking about all these things I'm talking about are like video, Google Meet, Zoom, all of that, right? Then now, when it now comes to telling you, so these are some discovery questions. What made you reply to my email? How are you handling the problem right now? What do you feel it's costing you? If this was fixed completely, what would that change for you, right? Have you worked with a freelancer on this before? How did it go? Is there anyone else who would be part of this decision? Is there anybody else who would need to say yes before you can actually pay me for this? You know what I'm trying to say? So these are just discovery questions that I typically ask. So please, you can just screenshot this, right? Again, we're getting late, so I just want to quickly round this off. So now, money. Very, very important. Money. How do you price a client, right? Now, typically, when you want to price a client for whatever service, actually, you could just easily go to AI. You could ask AI, ask ChatGPT. Honestly, I'm not the one that would tell you you should charge $500, you should charge $1,000, you should charge $2,000, you should charge $3,000. That is up to you. What I'm just going to tell you is when you tell a client, this is what this charges, right? Don't say, but I can be flexible. You are not flexible. Then if they bend you, you will break. You know what I'm trying to say? As Nigerians will say, when you want to order something, they'll say, you want to send me go back my village. You know what I'm trying to say? You're not flexible. Don't start discounting yourself before they even reply. Because now, see, I get the thing. When you tell a client, say that, okay, yeah, so I charge $3,000 for this service. Then for like 2 seconds, that 2 seconds where the client is quiet and thinking about it, that 2 seconds can feel like 2 hours to you. It can feel like 2 hours to you because your heart is just be doing boom, boom. Please say yes. Please say okay. You get what I'm trying to say, right? Even if it's just a few seconds. So you don't want to doubt yourself. Once you've said your price, you can just say, what do you think? Or you just wait for them to respond. Because remember, what we are trying to achieve is 2 clients that will just pay you like $1,500 per month. Again, the goal of this is to get you to $3,000 per month, right? To get you to higher. You could actually do much more higher, right? So now, so you say your price like somebody that is what's the price. Now, let me just show you some objections that you might probably hear based on my own experience. Some objections that you might probably hear and the words that's going to answer these objections, right? Now, if a client tells you that that is too expensive, then you ask them, you first tell them, oh, I completely understand. But can I ask you a quick question, right? What is one repeat customer? Like for me now, I'm doing lifetime value, that's LTV, right? I'm dealing with retention marketing. I would say if a customer that you've already used ads to get, right? If they keep on buying from you at different random hours or different random days or time across the year, what is that worth to you? What would it pay for you? Or what would it, you understand? What would you gain from it? And I will say, yes. So the system pays for itself every single month, right? The system pays for itself. Now, this is something that you probably just have to pay for once and then I build, or you just pay for like little. Get what I'm trying to say, right? Now, you never want to say, okay, maybe you say $3,000, right? You never want to say, if that's too much, maybe can we do $2,000 instead? No. What you say is, if your budget is the issue. If budget is the issue, how about I do? So now, all that things that you said that you will do for them, you take a small part. You say, how about I do this small part for $1,000? And then if you see the results, if you like the results, we can now, you understand, actually build. You understand? So this, you are not saying that, I said $3,000 before. Now I can do it for $2,000. No. That's not what you're saying. What you're saying is, oh, I said I can do all these things for $3,000 or for $1,500. How about we start here, and then we can do that for $500. And then if you like it, then we can now go ahead and finish the entire $1,500 project. You understand? So you never want to argue your own price. What you want to do is you want to reframe it around the cost of the problem, and then now offer them a easier entry. You get what I'm trying to say? Offer them a easier entry. Now, if they say, just send me a proposal. Let me just tell you something. If the client says, just send me a proposal or just send me this, unless they're telling you to send them an invoice where they won't pay you, bro, they will run. You will send that proposal, they no will respond. It's just an easy way for them to run away. So now, if they say, just send me a proposal, then what you just say is, oh yeah, sure. I'll send you a proposal, maybe just you can say later today, or I'll send you a proposal immediately after this call. But you just say, so my proposal is accurate, right? Let me ask you two quick questions, right? What is your priority? So you want to just try to let them understand. You want to try to let them understand the scope of every single thing you're doing, right? So now, again, at this point, they did not argue price. They just say, oh yeah, just send over your proposal and then we'll look over it with my team. Then you just say, okay, what is your priority? Do you want these customers to do blah blah blah? It depends on you, or do you want your social media signs to blah? And then is there a budget range that you're probably working within? Or if you go and speak to your teammate, is there a budget range that would be more comfortable for you? Right? Then if they now say that is a budget range, so that is a smarter way for you to actually say, you understand? And then you can now go back to up that, okay, how about we do this, which is within your budget range, if it gives you the result you want, and then we can discuss some more. You get what I'm trying to say? Now, somebody else can also say, I'll think about it. If they say they'll think about it, you're like, yeah, sure. Yeah, it's not little money, or you understand, it's a big decision, right? But if I follow up properly, what currently have you not agreed? So I'm trying to think of a better way. I'm trying to think of like a true life experience that I've had with this. So if somebody tells you, I'll think about it, right? Tell them, sorry, what exactly do you want to think about? Is it the timing? Is it the scope of work? Is it the price? Or is there something that is holding you back from making a decision right now? Am I making sense? You must get answer. For that meeting where you do, your 20 minutes must not waste you. You must get answer. So if they say they will think about it, you tell them that, oh yeah, that's perfectly fine. I'm sure this is something that, okay, you just can't make a decision just right now. But might I ask, right, what exactly is holding you back? Is it the timing is it the scope of the project? Is it the price? Or is there something that, like, what is the one thing that you think that you're most hesitant about right now? And then they'll tell you, okay, this is it. And then you understand. You not enter them. You enter them again from another level. But anyways, if they ask you, can you do it for free first as a trial? This one is a typical, you see a lot of Nigerian businesses you reach out to will probably do this to you. Can you do it for free first as a trial? You tell them that, see, that sample that you sent, that is the trial. You get what I'm trying to say? That sample that you sent, that is the trial. But instead, what I can do is, how about we start this thing and then you not give them a cheaper price again? It's the exact same thing. So let's say you tell them this thing is $1,500 and they say, oh, can you start as a trial? You say, oh, well, the sample I sent to you was actually a trial. So maybe instead of this, can I create maybe 5 so for you for $500, right? And then if you like what I've done, then we can now move on. Do you understand? And then work on, like, whether it's a monthly plan to make it easier for you, or a one-time payment, or whatever, right? You've already given them free proof. You don't need to give them any more proof. They don't see your work. You get what I'm trying to say? So anyways, now, if they've agreed for you to work with them, right? How do you contract? How do you send them a contract? Okay, this is how we're going to do about it. Or is it going to be, do you pay 50% upfront, or do we do it based on milestones and everything, right? So the first thing you want to do is, it's not honestly, in my opinion, it's not very, very difficult, right? You can just tell them the scope. So when you're creating your contract, it has to have, don't worry, I'm still going to send you templates for this. It has to have the scope. So this is exactly all it is that we're going to do. right? Then you tell them revisions, if any. Are there any revisions that we can add to this? Or maybe I'll give you 2 free revisions, or I'm going to create your website. And then, because see, some clients, if you don't mention this revision, let's say as an example for a web developer, you don't mention the revision, and then you create the landing page or you create the website based on exactly how they want it to, they will change 110 things. They will change 110 things. They will stress you. You understand? So always make sure when you're putting the scope, this is exactly everything we've talked about and what I'm going to be doing. Revisions that are included, right? Timeline. This is when I'll start and this is when I'll be able to deliver, right? And then payment terms. And you can now give them payment terms, right? Payment terms. Do you pay 50% upfront first? Right? Do you pay 50% upfront first? Or do I deliver something and then you pay 50% and then at the end you pay 50%? And then you tell them and you let them know that they only have full ownership of what you've created when they've paid in full. If they only pay you 50% and then you create graphics for them, they cannot post it on their social media until they've paid you in full. That is the only time that they get full ownership. And all these things are things that you can easily build with AI. Now, the rule is this: collect your 50% first. Before you do the work, before you do anything, collect your 50%. So now, right, I thought about this. I thought we were nearing the end. Damn, I created a long slide. Okay. Let's continue, guys. Let's continue. Don't worry. Right? So now, just tell them when it's collecting 50%, I will not really say it's very difficult, because once you've gone on a call with them, you've done all of that with them, you've created a contract with them, you just tell them that, okay, see, to get started, you pay me 50% upfront, and then when I'm done with the whole project, you send 50%, or you can do 50% upfront. I say 50% upfront, and then you can now divide it into milestones. When I do this, you pay another 10%. When I do this, you get what I'm trying to say. But most times you can just do 50% upfront and then 50% after. Right? It's honestly just the way it works. That's, in my opinion, it's just a professional way to go about it. Right? My wife is actually watching this thing. I don't know where to hear they talk. But anyways, let's now move on. So the numbers game. Now I said, remember, this whole thing is a numbers game. Right? So this is how it works. So for me, right, or when I email people last, right, for every 20 people I reach out to, I usually get 2 to 3 clients from every 20 I reach out to. Now it gets to a point where that works for you. But what I'll say to do first is reach out to 100 people first. I guarantee you, from that 100 people, let's say 15 respond. Out of the 15 that respond, let's say 5 say no. Let's say half. Let's say reach out to 100 people, 15 respond, which is 15% conversion rate, which is actually pretty low, which is very low, right? I'm just putting it out there. Let's say 15 respond. Out of the 15, 8 says yes. Out of the 8 that says yes, that you now go on call with, you now talk to, you should at least be able to close 2 to 3. So now, if you're able to close 3 people paying you $1,500 each, that's $4,500 per month, right? Let me now ask you something. If you want to make $12,000, what do you do? So now let's use 2 for example. So let's say you're able to get from 100 people you reach out to, you're able to get 2 people that pay you, let's just put maybe $2,500, like $5,000. What do you now do to make $15,000 in a month? It's a numbers game. Reach out to 300 people. You get what I'm trying to say? So if you know for a fact, my first lines are good, my template is good, everything is good, right? The process is good. If I reach out to 100 and 10 people respond positively, what do I need to do to get 20 people to respond positively? Reach out to 200. And if out of that 20, you close 5 and 5 actually pay, what do you need to do? You get what I'm trying to say? You can scale. You can easily scale. And then your goal now becomes, okay, instead of me reaching out to 100 before I get 3, how do I improve my outreach? So I reach out to 20 and I get 2. I reach out to 20 and I get 3. I reach out to 100 and I get 10. That's how you now need to start improving. And then once you now improve, once you know that, okay, yes, this my template is good, you can just keep rinsing and scaling, right? Don't quit. All these are just blah blah. So 30 days plan. Create your, for week one, get your 100 people's list, validate them, create your first line, send your emails, send follow-ups, get these conversations going and win, honestly. As I said, it's a numbers game, right? So now let's look at what you've gotten, our complete scale-up system. I've shown you how to position yourself. I've shown you how to prospect. And I've shown you how to outbound. In fact, I've even shown you how to close this client, right? So at the start of this freelancer, at the start of this workshop, you were a skilled freelancer. You were still trapped in $200 jobs, trapped in $300 jobs, $400 jobs, $500 jobs. But right now, I've given you a complete client acquisition system that you own forever, that you can actually go out and test, right? So what I need you to do for me is I need you to send out, get a list. See, create a lead sheet of just 5 people and send out emails to them. Right? You don't need to see, don't say you want to do, let me get the 100 people first. No. Get 5 today. Email that 5. Tomorrow get another 5. Email that 5. Next tomorrow get 10. Email those 10. Start today. That is one thing I'm just saying. Start today. Now, one last thing. This is the part that people like the most. How do you get paid? Am I making sense? How do you get paid? Because every single thing that we are doing today is still for that one thing. It's still money. Money, it's still for you to get money, right? Because one of the worst things that you can do is work for somebody. And I'm pretty sure this is something that you've gone through. You work for somebody, you deliver the work, and then they don't pay you, right? They don't pay you. On platforms like Upwork and Fiverr, they have escrow that protects you. But when you're reaching out to clients directly, if you finish the work, right? You're in Nigeria, these people are in the US. Let's say the person wicked, they pay you 50%. You now finish the work and they use your work. How you want to sue them? Who you want to use, go sue them, right? That is where you get protected. Again, you have your contract, you have the 50% upfront. Again, I wouldn't even pay the 50% upfront. In fact, let me just bring up GoFlex, right? Let me bring up GoFlex. So GoFlex is going to tell you exactly how their platform works, exactly how to get paid from these guys. They'll just tell you, how do you get your money when you're done? God's will. Over to you.
Yeah. So I'm here with you, my brother. Man, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Messiah. I really appreciate you for all the amazing work that you've done in the last, say, 3 sessions. First, it was a webinar, and then we had the session yesterday. All right. So if you love Messiah, I want to see you give us a thank you message on the chat. Say, thank you so much, Messiah. I love you, Messiah. Oh, you've done really well, Messiah. So now,
Thank you, guys.
here's the next phase of the conversation that we're going to be having. You've learned everything. You've seen all the possibilities. You've seen all the strategies that you can navigate to get all the beautiful results that you want to get from this entire process, all right? So I do not want any of you to leave because we have a challenge that will be announced next week. Next week, you will get all the tools. Next week, you will get all the templates. You will get all the systems and structures that you can use to start implementing on the go. And so I want to believe that every one of you on this call, you have signed up on GoFlex. So if you've not actually done that, so this is the easiest way to navigate it, because I noticed that most of you are actually adding your friends, which is okay. But if you want to benefit from the support system that we have created and the danger that we have actually put in place to ensure that you get all the results that you need to get, I think that you need to go to this link, which is workshop.trygoflex.com. All right. You'll see everything about the Scale Up Workshop, and then open a free account with GoFlex. And whatever you'll be doing here is very simple. This is where you would use to send invoices, because most of these clients, if you send them your Nigerian bank account details, they'll ban you. All right. They'll most definitely ghost you. Okay. So what we're going to be doing is that ensure that you actually signed up on GoFlex. I can see over 1,500 of you have already signed up, which is very amazing. I appreciate you guys. All right. But I also noticed that a few of you have not actually activated. I mean, over 60% of you have not actually activated your account. So if you have not activated your account, go this evening and ensure that you're activated, because from this weekend into Monday, we will be preparing all the nitty-gritty you would need for the challenge. Now, what's the challenge about? Okay, the challenge is, okay, don't worry, I'm not going to spill the tea right on this call. I want every one of you to go get activated first. Then on Monday, say Monday or Tuesday, we would have a very amazing session again where we'll be sharing about the challenge, so you can be a part of it, and then we'll give you all the tools, all the materials, all the templates that you need to get this amazing result. I mean, it is really possible to get all of this amazingness. Guess what? If you use Upwork here, Upwork would ask you to give them 20%. All right. So GoFlex is not asking you for any money. Anybody that asks you to give them any money, they're actually scamming you. All right. Nobody's actually asking you to give you any money. All right. Nobody's asking you for 15% of your money. No one is asking you to give, say, 19% of whatever you are actually aiming. So to activate means to start your KYC process, all right, and complete your KYC process, all right. It's a very straight process, all right, so that when it starts, reaching out to your clients and then getting responses, once it's time to get paid, that's where you now really have to send your invoices, and then we're good. Thank you so much, everyone. I don't want any of you to leave the group because we have a lot in store for you guys. I can see that a lot of you are saying, for Upwork is 10%, okay, for Fiverr is added 20%, but for GoFlex is almost free. Guess what? If it's time to actually send your invoice, you will see that there is a service fee of 5.49%. You're not the one to pay that. Your agency or your client can actually pay that service fee. They understand it because they understand tax, all right, and they also understand basic compliance, all right. So the workshop group is live. I do not want any of you to leave, because that's where we would be giving you all the support. We'll give you all the templates. We'll give you all the tools. We'll give you all the materials. And for the next 2 to 3 weeks, we are, pushing to ensure that you guys get monetized, make a lot of money. Yes, I like this. This person is saying, let's flex with GoFlex. I need you guys to go online, talk about this experience that you're having with us. Share your experience, share what you're learning with Messiah. All right. I need you guys to go out there and say, oh my God, we've gotten a lot of value with GoFlex, and nobody's asking you to give them a dime. All we are saying is go and implement all the things you've learned this evening. All right. And then when it's time to receive your money, all right, use GoFlex. All right. Use GoFlex, use GoFlex, use GoFlex. And then you don't have to be the one to pay the service fee of 5.49%. All right. You just have to get your clients to pay it, and they understand because it's tax. All right. They have to pay their tax. Yeah, there are replays. All right. You will get access to everything. I just want you all to stay jiggy in the group. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. So I don't know